So they also believe there's satisfaction as far as quantity is concerned.
So now what is your argument finally?
So my arguments,
That
your lordship can just pick up this note that sums up what my arguments are after the list of dates, page 2. The first is that section 23 is mandatory. And those relaxations can only be by the central government following the procedure that's been provided.
4.2.
Yes, Manoj. 4.1 makes it clear that section 23 is mandatory. 4.2 talks about how relaxation can be only by the central government. And as your lordships have seen, that guidelines itself provides that CTET is only for central government schools, not for anything else. The only thing in the guidelines which your lordships noticed is that they say if the state says we're not going to conduct the TET, then the question may arise of you borrowing and using CTET qualified candidates. But that trigger, even as per the guidelines, admittedly is not there, because as we have shown you from the counter, their stand is we are conducting the exam. And again, in this counter just now, the same paragraph, they have said that we will be conducting, we couldn't conduct it because of COVID and other circumstances. So they have never taken a stand which fulfills that guideline 10 second part, which requires them to say that we will not conduct it, in which case, yes, CTET can be borrowed. So that even we are not saying that you can't if you're not conducting the exam. We are saying since you have said that you are conducting the exam, then you have to strictly go by JTET.
Basically, 23.2 compliance is your argument.
Yes, 23.2 along with the guideline itself, Manoj. Even if I
guidelines following the rules.
Following throughout.
Following the rules.
Yes. Now there's one couple of additional points. If you see 4.3 and 4.4 at page 3, we've given the page references. Service importance of TET cannot be overemphasized and has been accepted by the state. 4.3, Manoj, page 3. Service rules provide that TET papers include tribal and regional languages. Jharkhand, being a tribal state with 32 scheduled tribes, requires regional language as a medium of communication with students. Jharkhand also has the third lowest literacy rate in India. Further, the state itself has admitted before the High Court that CTET does not fulfill the needs of the state to the state regional language and local needs. This is at page 302. The Lordship will find it at para 12. This is what they've said. It's part of the supplementary counter that they filed in the High Court.
It's main counter.
Sorry, it's main counter, not supplementary, main counter, part of the main counter.
All right.
Yes. And the other ground is on prejudice, Malad. I've mentioned that. And finally, in the directions, if your lordship notice, they don't say that certificates of TET from any states. They say neighboring states. There's no rationale really behind any of this. They shouldn't have departed from what the requirements are, what the qualifications are when they admit that 1 lakh are available.
If relaxation is good, then that clause is good. That proviso, if it is bad, it is bad.
It is bad. I'm grateful. That's all.
I think maybe Hindi speaking, they may have thought of, we don't know, but
That's
I think maybe
left to the local.
maybe.
There's a companion petition.
Yes.
Wait, please.
That is all.
Yes,
Yes, madam.
Wait, please, madam. No, while you are on the counter filed by the state, which has been partly dealt with by the impugned order, would your lordship kindly see just 2 paragraphs of the counter filed by the state, which is very relevant.
To counter file in this before Supreme Court in High Court.
Yes, my lord. Please come to page number 323 of the same paper book which Mr. Gopal had referred to. 323. The reasons, because the High Court talks about 10. It doesn't talk about what the state itself was concerned about. Please come to para 18, page 323, Manoj. That it is further stated that the central TET qualified candidate or a candidate qualifying TET by another state can only be considered for a state-run schools when particular state government has decided not to conduct its own TET. But it is most that it is most humbly stated that it is not the case that the state government had decided not to conduct the JTET, and in these circumstances, the state government is not bound to consider central TET or a candidate qualifying TET by another state or UT as eligible qualifications. That CTET qualified candidates can be made eligible in a given contingency where the state government is not conducting TET, but when this contingency does not exist, there is no occasion to make central TET candidates eligible or to allow those candidates who have obtained TET from central government or any other state UT. Lord, in this scenario,
So your contention is
yes,
that in the first counter affidavit filed before the High Court,
this is second counter, supplementary counter.
this supplementary counter.
Yes, this is supplementary. Subsequent to, my lord, the first.
Then
counter and the
suppose
order
the
of the-
supplementary counter says this,
Yes,
then from where this concession has come?
this is oral, my lord. It is just the Advocate General says oral concession. There is nothing in writing. Number
All
one.
right, statement of Advocate General is.
Therefore, they've taken it. Therefore, they've taken it. Number two, my lord, the entire writ petition, my lord, entire writ petition is allegedly by, it's called as a PIL. In service law, there is no PIL. In fact, all the petitioners are wanting to participate in this election. It's not a PIL in that sense. They are calling, they are an unregistered association. We do not know how many members are there. They came before the High Court, my lord. The Honorable High Court ought to have at least seen all these provisions, which my learned friend was now striving to point out, you know, what are the statutory sequence, what are the regulations to be applied, whether it can be relaxed at this point of time, whether the contentions of the petitioner only for the prayer that please conduct JET, which can be at a stretch, we are saying that in the upcoming selection, please consider me. Now, please note the point, you know, the rules in existence on that date had only JTET. When they went to the writ court, there was no challenge to the rules in existence. They said the rules in existence when we participated in the advertisement said only JTET. There is no challenge to that. In that scenario, whether the High Court could have rewritten the rule or the advertisement, your lordships have held, my lord, you can't change the rules after the game has started. As simple as that. Whether the,
Where are the rules?
yes, to, my friend had pointed out 228.
234.
No, it started like that, not, but the relevant portion. Same
Two-
paper.
228 at 234.
Yes. $240. Please come to 240 and also
34 is
240, also 242. Yes, for primary. 240.
240.
Yeah, I'll first show 237, it starts. Thank you. But the peculiarity of the state is so much that they take so much into consideration, Lord. They belong to various tribes and therefore it's very important. The state had itself pointed out all those. 237, Lord. Para 3E. E is there, middle of the page.
So you are as 228.
Lord, which is
228.
Yes, Lord. It started at 228, Lord. Kindly come to 234, which will say qualification. Correct. Yes.
234.
Yes, well, we'll start with qualification. 234 will start with qualification.
Yes.
Please come to 237, Milord. Middle of the page. Yes. Left side will be, Milord, intermediate teacher, education, what is that, all rules of mathematics, physics, etc. Coming to the 237 middle, 3E. Candidates will be eligible for appointment as assistant teacher in the same subject group in which they have
But
passed.
right, subject is all right. We have to see JET.
Yes, please come over the page,
That is
Milord.
page 248.
240, absolutely, Milord. I'm great.
What he has read.
JTET.
The qualification.
You must read this last part. This
Yes, Lord, why I wanted to read this 237 was the point which we were stressing that, Lord. Same subject in which they have passed the teacher eligibility test, and after passing the teacher eligibility test in the regional language, tribal language notified for the district, will be eligible for appointment in that particular district.
No, the advertisement is district wise.
Yes.
Yes.
This advertisement was district wise.
Post, sir, because suppose somebody has learned Santalia, then they will be posted in that district.
Let us see the advertisement.
Yes. Advertisement.
I will see, go back, please first complete this.
All right, I'll complete at 2:40 minute, at 2:40, state to
240.
clarify that. 240B and passed in JTET. The teacher eligibility test conducted for classes 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 by the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by NCTE. Yeah, correct. 240.
Now come to that advertisement.
42 also, it says 6 to 8 JTET. Yes,
It's not 6 to 8.
yes. 6 to, both are not 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 are primary and upper primary. Let's come to that. Yeah, just one more, 2 lines in that advertisement itself at 238 on top, Milord. Sorry, on the rules itself. On top, Milord, just 2 lines.
238.
238. On top, first line, 238.
Yes.
It will be mandatory to have knowledge of local customs, language and environment. Yes.
They are basically, they say residents of Jharkhand only.
But CTET is only English, Milord. They don't have all these languages.
That's a different thing.
Very well. No, that's very
But they have
essential
the
for a
knowledge of-
primary child. In fact, Devesh
They have
Sharma,
the
your
knowledge
lordship
of
have
all
dealt
this,
with
that's
this.
why they said residents of Jharkhand only.
Residence is fine, Lord, but they didn't pass. Lord, we had passed in 16, waiting for the past 8 years. And different local customs and languages and tribal. Yeah. Advertisement will be in the additional documents, Lord, your lordships had seen it. There also at one, yeah, it is starting at 35, but relevant portion of qualification 51.